Tony Jeary here, Time Management Part 2. In the first module, we talked about two important pieces to the time management puzzle. One is prioritization, and number two is procrastination. Now we're going to move into the second module on time management, and that we're going to be covering organization and delegation. So there's a total of 4 pieces, and we want to end up with distinctions and best practices to help you in each of those 4 areas. Now, if you'll remember what I talked about from our book, How to Gain 100 Extra Minutes a Day, we talked about the concept of being 168 hours in a given week, that generally we sleep for 50, we have 18 for maintenance, so we have about 100 hours to spend. Constantly be thinking about that. How do I maximize that 100 hours? So let's jump into organization. As we're beginning to jump in, I'm going to ask you right now, based on your own personality, based on your own skill sets, how organized are you? If you look around and you look at your desk and your car and your home and you said, you know what, I'm a pretty organized person, would that be you? Or would you say, you know what, this is a subject that I really need to work on? You know, for me, let me just tell you a little story. My personality is pretty fast, pretty outgoing, pretty go make things happen kind of personality. And what I realized over time is for me to be more effective with my time, I needed to really be organized. So I needed to sharpen my own abilities, what I thought about organization, what I thought about how to really bring everything together, and I needed to surround myself with people that were also organized and appreciated that value so I could really be my best. So as you're thinking about your own self, think about, do you have team members around you, even your spouse, that's helping you be organized? Fortunately for me, my wife and I, we trade off projects, we do all kinds of cool things, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of those best practices. So again, think about all the team members around you, think about yourself and say, self, is this a subject I really need to work on? And I'm betting I'm going to give you some distinctions that can be valuable for you. So here we go. We got 8 of them under organization. Let's go through them right now. Number 1, organize lists, to-dos, and other content using your memo, task, and notes area of your phone. I believe the phone is such a powerful tool, and I say it day in and day out because I believe so strongly that people do not maximize it as a tool for leverage of organizing their life. So think about it right now. If you looked in your phone and you said, I have a task area or a memo area, how effective are you using that area to keep up with your list and to-dos? So in the morning when you think up something, oftentimes you get up in the morning and you go, wow, that's something I need to do. Do you immediately go over to your phone, open up an area on your task or memo and say, I'm going to write that down? For me, what I do is I have personal items, I have business items, I have things for my kids, and I'm able to go over instantly and pull that out of my mind and organize my thought, organize it on my list, and organize it again in my phone. And I would encourage you to do the same thing, to really think about all the different ways that you can free up your mind and organize yourself, really leveraging that valuable tool. Leverage what's available to you so that you really have your very best focus. All right, number 2, let's talk about doubling up on tasks. Such a great concept. I'd like to introduce the concept called an elegant solution. Now, this is a term that I became familiar with a few years ago, and it's been phenomenal in the way that it's helped me really be able to maximize my time and organize how I do life. An elegant solution is simply being so clear on all the things that you want to accomplish, being so organized that you can often do one thing and accomplish 3 or 4 objectives. So being able to really be organized so you do one thing and accomplish more than others. So for example, sometimes you can be exercising and you could be listening to an audio recording, or you could be reading if you're doing some kind of bike, and you could be doing 2 things at once, really doubling up on the task. And then maybe if you're doing on top of that, if you're doing your exercise with a colleague or a friend, then you could be doing 3 things. And then if you're really being able to be studying and talking out with your friend on things that you're reading, you could be really brainstorming, and so there could be 4 things happening. So really being able to organize your life so that you can double up, triple up, quadruple up on your task can allow you to be much more effective with your time. Think about it for a minute. Take a pause if you like, and think about the different things that you do in your life. Are you really looking at the different components of saying, how when I'm doing this, can I do more? So for example, think about when you're commuting, or think about when someone else is driving and you're sitting on the seat not driving. Think about when you're sitting down and eating at lunch, or think about when you are exercising like I just went through. Think about the different times where you can multitask and do 2 and 3 things at once. Think about how powerful you can be by really maximizing your effectiveness there, being really organized with your thinking. All right, number 3, listen to audiobooks, video snippets on the web from key authorities. Here's a big one for you. You know I have people in my studio time to time, and when I bring people in, from time to time, we talk about really reading books and maximizing audio and video recordings. And what I found is many people are not really leveraging, have their life organized where they can really leverage really the whole deal that's out there, the whole deal that's out there on the web. For example, TED.com is a great resource. It's nicely organized, and since 2004, they've made available free 18-minute video clips of some of the best minds in the world talking about their key subjects. So if you're not leveraging and really utilizing TED.com as a way to kind of manage your learning, let me encourage you to do that. Even just using YouTube and going on and searching videos and then being able to organize those to where you have a really good arsenal to re-listen to and relearn can be really valuable in your learning experience and can save you time as well. Number 4, store things close to you in a place where they get used. So think about paper, supplies, think about cards. Are you really putting in all of your desk areas? Maybe you have a couple different places that you operate out, or maybe even just organizing things that are in your car. One of the things that we do in each of our vehicles is we have in the glove box little segments where we have paper clips and note cards and pens, and we've got that really organized so we can get to things really quick. I ask you, have you really done that? Have you really looked at the different environments that you work in where you can easily get to things and save yourself a half minute here or a half minute there or a half minute there? All that really adds up, really taking your environment extremely seriously, being able to lay things out so you don't run out. You know what we do? We have pens and pencils and highlighters, scads of them all around, so we're never having to go run in a hurry to go find something. It's always easily where we can get right to it. Encourage you to do the same thing. Okay, so number 5, keep your projects, files, and other items to review and study organized and by your phone so that you can work on during a call. So many times today we're listening in, we're on conference calls, and we have the ability to multitask. You've got to decide for yourself what works best for your personality, but I truly believe having things that you can be able to grab and look at and connect and being organized ahead can save you a few minutes here and a few minutes there. And all that, again, as I said, continues to add up. Next one, to develop a regular template and agenda for your meetings and fine-tune them. Now, so many meetings are ongoing, like you may have a staff meeting that you perform or that you conduct or that you lead or you're part of, and being able to have that ongoing agenda where you can tweak it, very organized, and maximizing the minutes can really be powerful. I'd like to introduce the concept to you right now called the 3D outline. The 3D outline is a concept that I developed years ago that simply says you look at the what, the why, and the how. And it's an excellent way to organize your outline or your agenda for any meeting or any presentation. So again, you're really looking at all the components, the what, the why, the how. So make sure you check that template out, the what, the why, the how, the 3D outline. Okay, let's talk about delegation now. This will be the 4th area of time management that we want to really take to the highest level we can. Delegation is a big piece to the puzzle. 5 things we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the first one here. The first one is, ask yourself, is there someone else that can be doing this? A great question to be constantly on your mind as you're looking at all the things that you need to get done. Is there someone else that can make it happen? Looking at all the team members around you, that is a fantastic question. So just think right now, how well are you really leveraging the team members that are around you, both personally and professionally? Are you asking yourself that? And are you really taking action? Number 2, delegating is not relegating. It's about inspecting what you inspect. And a distinction I'd like to share with you right now is this. This can really save you a lot of time. When you delegate to someone, obviously you need to inspect what's happening. But oftentimes we fail to delegate to the person accepting the task the responsibility of keeping us informed on the progress. And therefore, mentally, it's on your mind to go, oh, I wonder how it's happening. And you're constantly trying to chase down and see what the updates are. And so a distinction I'd like to give you is when you're delegating, make sure whenever possible the person that's receiving the delegation accepts the responsibility of keeping you updated on the progress. And then telling them how you want to be updated. Do you want a short email? Do you want a text? Do you want a short phone call? Or do you really require an in-person meeting? Being really clear on that can be really effective in making sure that you free up your own mind and that things really do get happening when you delegate. So let's talk about number 3. Contracting outside services or consultants when no one in-house has the skills to perform the task or is overburdened. This can gain valuable time by not having to train or retrain. So are you really looking for outside team members that perhaps are not part of your team that you can say, hey, I'm going to contract this out and this person can do it? Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I looked at a project where I wanted to take a lot of the videos that I had of my kids and I wanted to really put that into a master DVD set. And I kept thinking, well, how am I going to make this happen? You know, it's going to take time to get the recording of everything. And I ended up contracting a college student to spend the time to go and put all the different videos that I had over the years on DVDs, and it became a very, very excellent project by contracting that out to a college student. So think about other people in your life. They can be consultants, they could be specialists in certain areas, or it could even be a college student, someone that really wants to learn, that has the ability to do what you need to do and help you extend your own time. All right, number 4, train while you delegate. So many people fail to do this. When you're training someone as a leader, are you looking for ways that you can really inform them, educate, and teach them so next time they have a greater understanding of what you need to have done and to save you time in the future? As a leader, it's a great thing to not only delegate to save your time, but to really raise the effectiveness of those people that report and work for you. So let me ask you to consider number 4, really being able to communicate and educate when you're delegating. All right, number 5, have others read and prep for you. Now, this is one of my favorite ones that I'd like to share, and I'm hoping that you like it. Having them research, read, summarize, and pull key bullets so that your time can be spent reading only the most relevant information. And I'd like to introduce a concept to you right now called SMART reports. This is one of the concepts that I share with some of our top executives that come right here in the studio. And it's the idea to have their executive assistants be aware that from time to time they need to be smart on certain subjects so that their executive assistants or other team members can go out, do research, grab information, and bring a SMART report down to 1 to 2 pages about a person you're meeting, a company that you may be doing business with, a subject that you need to know about. So you delegate that ability to really get smart in a certain area, having someone read and research for you. A really strong one that a lot of people miss. Sometimes even having that SMART report emailed to you so you have it available on your Kindle or on your Slate or whatever type of phone device that you use can be extremely powerful as well. So again, summarizing, I'm going to bring it down to the 5 pieces that we just talked about under delegation, and then the 8 pieces we talked about in organization. And let me walk you through these, and then I'm going to ask you to go ahead and pick out a couple of things that you need to work on. Let's look at organization first. All right, here's 8 things that we talked about. Number 1, we talked about organizing your list. Number 2, we talked about doubling up on task. Number 3, we talked about listening to audiobooks and or snippets from the web. We talked about storing things and really organizing our environment the best that we can, or to another level. We talked about keeping projects and files and other items around us so that we can review and double up on tasks when we're on the phone. We talked about really leveraging a template, having an organized template for our staff meetings. We talked about reading materials being organized so that you can grab them when you have extra few minutes, having them organized. And we talked about being a list freak, being able to go to another level of really leveraging your list. So take a moment, if you would, pause, pick 2 of those 8, maybe 3 things that you really need to work on. Ready? Pick them, kind of make a little note, underline them, take a little pause. Let's look at delegation. We talked about really asking ourselves often, can someone else be doing this? We talked about the inspection, kind of really making sure that when we delegate that people are keeping us informed on the progress. We talked about contracting outside services, including even using a college student. We talked about training while you delegate so that next time when you delegate, that person really has a higher skill set or a better understanding and saving you time. And then we talked about having others read for you in research, such as in SMART reports. So again, pause for just a moment, pick 2 or 3 of these that you say, these are things that I could do better that would really help me save time. Okay? So now, as a final action, I'm going to ask you to take the items that you have, the 2 items or 3 items that you have under organization, the 2 or 3 items you have under delegation, and go ahead and go back to your phone, just like we talked about in Module 1, and I'm going to ask you in your phone, under time management, that you would actually write down the things that you want to do differently, think differently, be more effective in terms of the best practices that we just shared. We shared a total of 29 really good ideas. You should have 8 or 10 that you say, I want to zero in on, and then take and make those as part of your life, make them part of your habits, and be more effective with your time.